working on a 25 horse Mercury outboard motor here, and we were having trouble getting it started this summer, and my next door neighbor and his friend took apart the carburetor, cleaned it all out, and seemed to help a little bit, but then the problem came back. We just couldn't get it started. And then my neighbor there kind of was looking around. He saw this little, behind the air intake here where the air goes into the carburetor, there was this little blue button here. And he noticed that when he pushed it a few times, then the motor would start right up, and it ran perfectly after that. And what he found, and as I take this off and I push on that blue button, a little fuel is getting squirted out of a hole right here. And you can see it probably in the video here. As I push that button, there's fuel coming out of there. And so he figured out that's how he could get the motor started. And then we did use that method all summer long. And then when I brought it home here to work on, I found out that this here little guy that's towards the front, it says pull to prime. This wasn't connected to anything. It wasn't working. It wasn't doing anything when I pulled on it. It was just completely loose. Nothing was working. And now I have it hooked back up, and it's working just fine. And then what I found was that if I look on this side of the carburetor and pull on that guy, a little arm comes down, and right away, if I pull a little further, it pushes in on that blue button, and of course fuel comes right out. And what that does is it adds a little, it's like actually a primer. It says pull to prime, and then if you actually pull it and pop it, it'll snap or pop in place, and it'll stay down. Then that fuel just keeps shooting right out of there for a little bit longer. So that was a key thing that we couldn't figure out, but now we got it. A lot of the videos, and I'll link a few of them on my video here, but a lot of them talk about what's happening on this side, and they don't really ever talk about on this side of the carburetor what's happening when you pull this out, and pump it a little bit, So I just kind of wanted to add this little bit of information. If you're having a hard starting motor, maybe this mechanism isn't working, and that you're not getting the engine primed properly. Okay, now I have the carburetor reinstalled, and here's the pull to prime knob. And the first part of it, the first, whatever that is, ½ an inch, when you pull out, there's hardly anything. You can see it kind of engaging there, inside there a little bit. And then if I go to the right side here, or actually the port side, as I pull out where it's there's very little pressure on there, you can see that arm comes down and starts to rest right on top of the blue primer button. And then if you pull a little bit more, it pumps down on that blue button. And so when it's free like that, you're not doing any priming at all until you feel it stop, and then you have to pull a little bit more, not much more. You can kind of see how much more to get the actual primer action. And so you can inspect all that good stuff if you're having hard starting. This is a 25 horse Mercury outboard, 2004, but a lot of this is the same in a lot of model years. So hopefully this helps.